Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we have the latest inflation report, the latest data. This was highly anticipated, and what it shows is that despite a lot of the concerns with the trade war causing rampant inflation, as you did have the amount of tariffs go up significantly on many trading partners, what did we exactly see? We saw lower inflation than expected, and it's the lowest rate that we have year over year in the past 4 years, which is absolutely huge. We saw the rate go as high as 9% in several months with Joe Biden as president. Now Donald Trump is back in the White House, and while the economy definitely isn't where it was back in 2019, he's getting the ball rolling, which is absolutely huge. And also, in terms of grocery prices, you have the largest decline in grocery prices in 5 years. And on top of it, because a lot of people were saying this whole trade war, all this stuff is going to lead to a recession. Well, first of all, we did see the so-called expert economists get the Q1 growth projection vastly wrong. It was just like a hair below baseline, and even then, it might even get revised up, and you need 2 quarters of negative GDP growth to get a recession. Even if we get one, it's probably going to be very minor. Some people would even argue necessary. You're not going to have like a 2009, because so much of the economic data we've seen over the past 4 years has just all been fluff, and that we know. But regardless, when you look at the metrics for that, it was about 66% according to Polymarket, where you were going into a recession. And right now, it's 40%, was a little bit below that this morning, just a little bit of a dead cat bounce. But it went from the mid-60s to the high 30s, maybe low 40s, in terms of the percent chance that you're going to have a recession. So already out of the gate, you're seeing the economic data improve. And you look at this, the smallest annual increase since February 2021, and you could look into it as well, because the economists had forecasted these prices to rise by 0.3%, and we did not exactly see that. Again, they overestimated inflation. 3rd consecutive months. How many months has Trump been president, by the way? Isn't that kind of interesting? Trump always beats the expectations. Biden always missed them, and even then, 1 million of their jobs, according to their own Department of Labor, were found out to be just entirely fake and non-existent, and the ones they did create went to illegal aliens and non-citizens, and we're starting to see the opposite of that. And that we know. Energy prices are down 4% compared with a year ago. It did go up a little bit in April, but still, gas prices fell once again in April. They've been down 11.8% over the past year, many of which came after the election in terms of the amount it's been falling. New car prices were flat again. They were expected to soar because of the tariffs. Used car prices actually fell, which is, again, absolutely huge. As you're seeing there, apparel prices fell. Grocery prices fell 0.4%. Egg prices fell 12.7%. So you are seeing just a massive dip in some cases of a lot of these goods that people buy that they were complaining about being so high during the Biden administration. Now, it's true you're not going to see, the prices of eggs automatically just go back to 2019 levels. You're going to probably eventually start seeing wages rise. If Donald Trump, extends his tax cuts and is able to get all that done, you'll see wages rise, which again will make up for it. Wages need to rise faster than inflation, and hopefully that increases. You're going to see more wages rising, more so than inflation rising in terms of the overall percentage point of it. So regardless, you're looking at this and you have all these tariffs, and Trump made a trade deal with China that was an intermediary trade deal. He made a deal with the UK, and you're kind of going to see more of these dominoes start to fall. Tariffs might be lowered, but you're still going to see the U.S. get a lot of concessions from these countries, and that's kind of the method to the madness, because a lot of people will say, what is Trump doing with these massive tariff proposals? Well, definitely, he's kept a lot of these other countries on their toes. You have a lot of people that are viewing Trump as unpredictable, and that's kind of what he likes to do So they just cave to his demands, and it usually ends up working because he is unpredictable. He knows when to bluff. He knows how to play the game. And in turn, he's winning for the United States in the process. How many companies have come in or pledged that they would come in since the tariffs? You have Honda investing in the U.S., and now Carrier is investing $1 billion in the United States to boost production. So overall, you're kind of seeing these companies begin to invest as this whole tariff stuff is going on and is creating jobs. And we talk about the fact that there's a lot of new Americans that are entering the labor market, and you're also seeing, 1 million new jobs since Trump took office created for actual native-born American citizens. But when it comes to illegal aliens and non-citizens and foreign-born workers, they've lost hundreds of thousands of jobs since Trump has taken over. And I think a lot of it has to do with Donald Trump's rhetoric, even when it comes down to immigration and mass deportations, because it's true that we haven't deported nearly enough people overall. It is true that you do have a much more secure border. Illegal border crossings are down 99%, but you still have plenty of illegal aliens that are here that need to be deported. All of that is true, and he's working on it. You just got more ICE funding. But when it comes down to the fact that Donald Trump is just going out there and telling people that they're going to be deported, these illegal aliens, not a lot of them are just going to wait around. Self-deportation, sometimes in certain circles, it gets mocked as something that's like non-viable or like a weak policy. But in reality, when you actually have a strong man, at least in terms of like rhetoric on the issue, like Donald Trump in the White House, people instantly don't want to enter the U.S., and plenty of people likely are leaving because where did all those jobs exactly go? They were created during the Biden administration. Now, where are they exactly going? They're just disappearing. And it's a very good thing that you have a president who not only wants to reorient the economy on the world stage around America, which we've lost that over the past 50, 60 years to China and many other places, but on top of it, he wants jobs going to American citizens, not people that are walking across your border that you don't know who the hell they are, that see America as like an economic zone that they're able to exploit. And under Trump, you are seeing a massive reversal of fortunes where the American citizens are gaining jobs and the illegal aliens are losing them. And honestly, the jobs numbers are much, much better than they currently are when you look past that point, because the people that are voting, they're going to be the American citizens, the native-born Americans, not a lot of the foreign-born workers. Some of those people, technically, you could say, are like naturalized immigrants, but most of them are either on visas or they happen to be just straight up illegal aliens, many of whom came into the country under Joe Biden's open border. So when it comes down to the economy, a lot of the fears are calming. Doesn't mean they're going away for sure, but definitely Donald Trump's approval rating in the process is going to go up. It's already gone up. He was at minus 7.2. We talked about this in the past video. Now he's at just minus 4.3. And plenty of those polls are old polls, and plenty of those polls are liberal election mafia, low accuracy polls that are ripe with response bias. If I had to guess, he's roughly around 48, 49%, which is probably around where he was. You could go all the way back to March. He's back to baseline. And when it comes down to 2026, we can talk about the midterms, because if you have a strong economy, Donald Trump's approval rating is going to go up, and it's going to give a lot of his supporters a reason to show up and vote, while a lot of Democrats are not going to be as enthused, and they're not going to be able to win over independents on the issue of the economy if you have a strong economy. And Donald Trump is much more popular now, even though, his approval was at a low point for his second term. He's much more popular than he was in his first term. And then you add in the fact that the maps don't really benefit the Democrats. The Senate map is foolproof for the Republicans once again. The governor's map's a mixed bag for sure. But it's going to come down to a few House seats. The House is going to be close. And already, despite the fact that Trump's approval rating is, in the aggregate at like 45, 46%, you only have a D+2 2026 environment. That might not even be enough to retake the House, and that assumes the polling stays the way it is. If the economy does well and continues to do well, the undecided voters are going to break more for the Republican. And definitely, it's hard to analyze nationally in a midterm year because every race is localized. There's a different environment. But still, if you do have in these swing districts, the messaging and Republicans in the House actually do help Trump pass his agenda, help expand upon his economic agenda, you are going to see the Republicans very likely, in my opinion, have a clear shot to keep their majority, if not expand their majority, in not just the House, also the Senate. And at the state level, they're probably going to have an opportunity to flip a couple of governor's seats as well. So when you look at that, you have plenty of positive news in the polling front. And a lot of that is stemming from the fact that the perception of the economy is definitely changing. And when you want to talk about the direction of the country as a whole, only by 8% say it is on the wrong track, which again doesn't sound that good on the surface level, but then you need to understand that that's like a record low. You would have to go all the way back, definitely when a lot of these places were reopening from COVID, you did see kind of a bump there. But during Trump's first term, even though the right direction, wrong direction polls went up, if you want to talk about where they were at the time of the midterms, it was like -14, -15. Now it's just -8. And that's with plenty of people being very cynical about the state of the country. So you still have, in some polls, the right direction is tied or winning, which is something we haven't seen in a very long time. And this is like seen as so far, a few rocky weeks for Donald Trump. But over the past week, he's had a phenomenal week. Then there's plenty of victories that he has posted. And when you talk about the inflation report, that is just the latest victory in a sea of victories that he's been posting over the past few days. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.